There's a new BB grenade in town and I think it's probably the strongest one ever. On this video I'm reviewing the latest grenade by Strataim. It's the Nova Epsilon. Let's go. What's going on? It's Graham from Airsoft Nation. Welcome to another video. If it's your first time here and you want the latest reviews, news and all other types of airsoft related stuff, start now by hitting the subscribe button and smash the bell so you don't miss anything. The Nova Epsilon is a BB ejecting impact grenade by Strataim, a French company, and this is their second airsoft grenade, or kind of a shell, released building on their experience with the Nova 48. Upon impact, it launches 106 BBs from 2 ejection ports in an explosive and fast blast covering all directions. Let's first take a look at the unboxing. The Nova Epsilon comes in this really neat plastic container, perfect for transporting between games. Inside this box, what you find is an instruction sheet, a safety pin, carabiner, and a small amount of paracord along with the grenade, and we'll come back to that shortly. Of course, in with that is also the grenade. Now, as you can see here, I have the orange model, but it's also available in silver and red. And with a price tag of £65, I'd advise to keep into the brighter colours to avoid losing this after it's thrown. Also, while you're there, stick your initials underneath to help any marshals find you if they come across it. Looking at the grenade externally, it's solid. Manufactured from CNC 7075 aluminium. This is the one of the only BB ejecting grenades made in full aluminium shell. Honestly, I've probably never been more comfortable throwing this BB grenade against a hard surface. Of course, you're still going to have the scratches and maybe the odd ding, but it's not going to fall apart. On the top of the grenade, you'll find an armed button, a hole for the spoon to go in, and of course the fill valve. On the side, you'll have 2 BB ejection ports located just above the O-ring. Now, talking internally, these have an extremely basic but yet reliable mechanism, like a lot of the BB grenades. Inside this one-piece CNC shell, you'll have 2 channels for the BBs to spiral down. And inside the core of the grenade is a gas chamber, which fills up and holds the ball bearing in place at the bottom. And there is a spring. This stops the air escaping until you dislodge it with a hard enough impact to let the gas expand. At that point, the gas will shoot out and the BBs will fly out in a very fast and vicious manner. That's pretty much it. There isn't really a lot to go wrong in there. And beyond a couple of O-rings, a metal ball bearing, that's all there is. Now, of course, it's very easy to lubricate the internal O-rings yourself when necessary because you don't need any tools. You simply unscrew the bottom and it will come straight out. But I'll come back to that shortly. For now, let's load it up. Unlike the Nova 48, which I'm going to come back to shortly, the Nova Epsilon is very simple to load and use. And if you've ever seen the ASG Storm 360, a video we've done last week, it's extremely similar. Before you ever load a grenade, always make sure you're wearing your eye pro on and load it up away from your face. The first thing you need to do is push the arm button down using the spoon and place the spoon into the hole to make it safe. At this point, you can gas it up with green gas. And then using a speed loader, you would speed load on both sides. Now, to make it easier, I recommend pushing the O-ring down just slightly to move it out the way. When you're ready to throw the grenade, all you need to do is pull the spoon out. This releases the armed button and it extrudes from the top. This now means it's primed and ready to throw. So, what are we waiting for? Let's see it in action. Now, we've thrown the Nova Epsilon in CQB sites, inside some wooden forts, and even through the woodlands at dog tag. Of course, also in the office here. The range is fantastic, and it's really got a good spread of 10 meters and covers all directions, as you can see in the video. Now, unlike some of these other grenades, this one definitely goes off a lot more violently and faster. It's kind of like almost begging to shower your opponents in BBs. You know, it's not going to wait. As soon as it's armed and you hit it, it sets off so easily. Through the testing, I haven't noticed a lot of variation in spread depending on how it lands, whether it's landing on the top or the sides, and that's because it dispersed so fast upon impact from both these channels, it really doesn't give it any time to kind of twist and mess around. It just wants to get rid of every BB, and that's what it does. There's never been a BB left in the grenade. Now, what we did notice, however, is the base of this grenade does get loose over time, especially as it's coming across and impacting. Now, of course, this could also be to the fact that we've removed this internal several times during the review, but what I would suggest, as we've done here, is put some PTFE tape around the base, because you really shouldn't have to open it very often. While I say all the BBs were fired every time, what we have noticed is there is always some leftover gas. So if you go to arm it again and you can't push this arm button down, it means there's gas in there. Now, the easy way to resolve that is just to tap it and set the gas off. That's it. All the gas is out, and that's how sensitive this grenade is. Drop-wise test, the Nova Epsilon, as just shown, is very sensitive once armed. You know, I could just slam it across my hand and across my palm, and it does get the bearing to move and gas to come out. Of course, it's not going to throw every BB out if I just tap it, but it shows how easy it is to vent the gas and start throwing the BBs. So with that shown, even if the Nova Epsilon lands on a soft surface, you are going to get a detonation most of the times. What you will find, however, is maybe a lacking in spread, because if that gas propulsion isn't getting enough force to spin and throw the grenade on impact, you're not really going to get the full 360 feel on it. Now, what's important to remember with this grenade and all the others, that spin and hard contact is what allows that grenade to really get the maximum coverage. If the BB lodges back inside the hole and you lose ventilation, it requires that second or third hit or bounce really to keep it going. When you want to rearm this and use it again, it's really simple. First off, you'll push the armed button down. If it has got gas already in there, that may be hard, so you'll just tap it to remove the excess gas and then push it down. At which point you can put the safety pin through the grenade. There we go. Gas it up and then load your BBs again. It's simple as that. It's fast and easy. It's probably one of the fastest grenades. Definitely not the fastest, but one of the fastest. The fact that there are two channels of BBs there makes it slightly slower than a few of the others. Now, regarding maintenance, make sure you're using silicone spray on the valve down the center. Of course, you can also remove the bottom to reveal all the internals and spray with silicone any of the O-rings if necessary, but I wouldn't suggest doing it very often. Now, as I say, you can remove the internals, which means you are left with an empty shell. Technically, this grenade is modular, so if you wanted to buy the potentially inferior Nova 48 skin, you could buy the Nova 48 and then put these internals straight in there and it will work. I haven't reviewed the Nova 48 yet, but I do know it's quite fiddly to load up. But keep your eyes out for a future review. So now you know how to use the Nova Epsilon, what about the pros and cons? First of all, this is a really cost-effective solution versus one-use pea grenades if you are taking it to a site on a regular basis. You know, £65 versus £3 or £4 one-shot grenades. It catches up quite quickly. Secondly, unlike some other grenades, the fact it comes in this plastic transportation case makes it really nice because you know it's going to be safe during transport. Talking about carrying the grenade, but on the field, most 40mm pouches will fit. It goes in easy and out easy with no real catching on the pouch, provided you've got the spoon loose. This grenade is definitely one of the strongest built BB grenades available at the moment, since most of the competition use polymer outer bodies, where this is entirely aluminium. It's really simple to use, fast to reload, and compared to some other BB grenades, that is a big bonus. The spread is really impressive, and providing it's on a halved surface, you've got no issues with it going off 100% of the time and never leaving a BB in the grenade. This grenade is also easy to maintain with just some standard O-rings and a little bit of lubrication required. You can open it up when required, but it's not going to be necessary at all. And of course, as I said, if you do fancy an alternative shell, you can always try the Nova 48. And the fact that there's two skins now and it's a modular grenade, I wonder if we're going to see more developments in future. Now that's the positives out of the way, let's look at some of the cons of the Nova Epsilon. This is definitely one of the more expensive BB grenades on the market. Now granted, it's made out of aluminium, but it is another, anywhere from £10 to £20 more than most of its competition. During operation, the base did come loose when I threw it, so I would suggest PTFE or putting something like Loctite Blue on there. Just remember, you do need to open it at some point if you need to get to the O-rings, so you don't want it locked there for good. Swollen BBs, which I know are rare nowadays, but possible, could cause real mischief with this grenade. You cannot see inside these channels from the inside, so if there is a BB stuck in there, you're going to have one hard time getting it out. I definitely would recommend not storing this with BBs in there, although I'm pretty certain that's obvious. In terms of operation, you cannot reactivate that safety once you've pulled the spoon out, because the arm switch extrudes from the top. Now this could potentially cause some sort of accidental discharge because it is sensitive, and if you take that back to the safe zone and someone else knocks it off, it's going to go off. So I would suggest definitely leave it in your pouch, or like with the other grenades, just throw it at the end of the game and set it off so that you don't walk back into the safe zone with an armed grenade. Now while this grenade does come with a nice carabiner and the pin and even some paracord so you don't lose it, the safety pin is very, very short, which means it could be knocked out quite easily. I definitely would suggest making sure that you keep a close eye on that and make sure you do keep that on your kit. And of course, like all BB grenades, your results may vary based on the surface conditions you're using and how this rotates and explodes. BBs are going to scatter randomly, and while by no means this is just an issue with the Nova Epsilon, it applies to all BB grenades, it is worth saying. So to conclude this review, right now I would say the Nova Epsilon by Strataim has reached my #1 spot for BB grenades to take with me both in woodland and CQB games. It's small enough to carry so that if you've got those what if situations, even if you're outside, and the fact it's very simple to reload and operate means I don't hesitate at all. More importantly, and against other grenades, is that I feel really comfortable with the build quality, and therefore I don't mind throwing this time and time and time again without any hesitations. And that's not something I can say to some of the other BB grenades on the market. Question of the day: what is your favourite BB firing grenade and why? Leave a comment and a like below and I'll respond to every single one. Now, once you've left a comment, please make sure you're subscribed. Why not check out our other grenade reviews over there and some other videos that YouTube suggests over there. We'll see you next time.